welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster, Tarpley here in Washington, D.C., calling your attention to the new edition of my Obama the Postmodern Coup, this time in Italian, and it's there from Fuoco Edizioni, Obama dietro la maschera, Obama behind the mask, worldwide coups, golpismo mondiale, at the hands of a Wall Street puppet. And on the cover, as you can see, go to tarpley.net, see the very nice cover, a picture of Obama with the Wall Street sign seemingly coming out of his head, which is about the size of it. A Manchurian candidate, to be sure, and now a Manchurian president, a postmodern candidate, a postmodern president, elected through a postmodern coup, as we documented in real time at that time, and that postmodern coup now being visited on the world. The attempt simply to destroy the modern nation state using the methods of Gene Sharp, the Albert Einstein Institute, Colonel Robert Helvey, and the rest of them. That's what it is. No longer the crude methods of Mad Dog Bush the elder, Mad Dog Bush the younger, the direct military attack really beyond the reach of a bankrupt imperialism like this one. But now with human rights, of course, you can start it. Although ultimately, as we're seeing, it converges on the same thing. It converges on the same pattern. So let us look the situation regarding Syria most immediately, perhaps most urgently. During the course of this week, we have any number of reports about military and naval movements by the United States focusing on Syria. Now, the first comes from a series of reports. I'm just going to cite the one from Debka File. Debka File, of course, benefiting from the information gathering of the Mossad and other Israeli agencies, but they point to the fact that there is a large buildup of U.S. naval forces, at least, considerable, maybe not large, but considerable in the Eastern Mediterranean, and this takes the form of the USS Bataan. This is one of your amphibious support ships, right? It's an aircraft carrier with primarily helicopters, 2,000 Marines, 6 warplanes, 15 attack helicopters, Ospreys, 27 helicopters of other types. Now, this is connected to the Sea Breeze maneuver in the Black Sea. So there is this amphibious strike group around the USS Bataan, which is now off the coast of Syria. Remember, if you want to do something aggressive vis-a-vis Syria, you've got Cyprus. You've got the British sovereign bases, Larnaca and so forth, on Cyprus that can be used as an unsinkable aircraft carrier off the coast of Syria. You've also got, and the Russian Foreign Ministry has been vehemently denouncing this week, the USS Monterey. This is an Aegis cruiser. So here we have an Aegis cruiser with a phased array radar on board, and this can be used to shoot down ballistic missiles of various types. Maybe not all, but quite a few. We've also told now by Debka, and indeed some of this is confirmed by others, that the Hezbollah in Lebanon are moving their missiles from northern Lebanon to central Lebanon, partly to be farther away from the U.S. airstrikes. I don't know if that makes any sense, but to be closer to Israel, maybe that makes more sense. That's from Debka. We have also had 3 separate warnings from the Iranians in one day this past week. Two warnings from the Foreign Ministry, 1 warning from a leading Iranian general telling the United States, do not attack Syria. Do not attack Syria. And I think we've also got the idea that if you attack Syria, it's going to be the trifecta. In other words, if Obama is now waging 5 wars, that would be Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Libya, and now Yemen. Those are the 5 currently. We'll talk about Yemen in due time here. 5 wars and the counting part, right, because we don't know what else is going on, because it can be done with stealth means, it can be done with predator drones, and so forth. If you attack Syria, you will actually get the trifecta, because you will get Iran and Hezbollah at war with you, too. And it's funny, this is something that goes back to something that Zbigniew Brzezinski was saying back in late 2006, early 2007. If you continue with this aggression, you're going to be at war with a whole stretch of territory reaching from Lebanon all the way to Iran and beyond. Maybe this time it goes all the way to Pakistan. Obama having made things worse than under Mad Dog Bush the Younger. So the Iranians are widely accused. Now, we had a very interesting moment this past week. Hillary Clinton has done something that's not usually done, which is to condemn two countries for the price of one. Two countries in the same tirade. She issued a rare joint condemnation of Syria and Iran this past week, saying that Tehran, Iran, is part of the continuing bloody crackdown by the Damascus government, by the Assad regime, on the so-called citizens. In reality, of course, these are not citizens to begin with. These are armed commandos. These are paramilitary forces of the Muslim Brotherhood, clear enough, supported by smuggling across various borders from Jordan, from the Kurdish area of northern Iraq, perhaps more than any place else, and, of course, perhaps from Turkey. Why not? That's also seemingly, you can just look at the pattern of where the trouble has been, and it's been in these border regions. Again, as far as I can see, Damascus still not, and Aleppo not. No big demonstrations there. Hillary Clinton says, today in Syria, Iran is supporting the Assad regime's vicious assaults on peaceful protesters and military actions against its own cities. And she then mixes in, we remember the terror and tragedy that accompanied Iran's crackdown in 2009, the so-called Twitter revolution, which had fizzled because the demagogues that the CIA had gotten there were didn't cut the mustard. They weren't charismatic enough, and above all, because they were not able to subvert a significant part of the military leaders. Because remember, that's how it works. The color revolution in the foreground is simply a dog and pony show. It's a sideshow, a diversion to get the attention of the suckers fixated on the golden youth and their shenanigans in the plaza, whereas the real action is the military putsch, the coup going on behind the scene. And a lot of people who have studied the color revolution dynamic miss the fact that the color revolution itself does not cause a revolution. Street demonstrations are not a struggle for power unless you've got a faction of generals or high public officials or security people, spooks, that are subverted in advance. So that's what it is. So the attack on Syria goes on with Angelina Jolie cavorting at the border. Back in a minute.